again, there's an abundance of opportunity out there. So for me to build a long-standing business and do it the right way, the organic way, I want to work with clients that are, for the most part, aligned with my values. So once I understand these values that were embedded in me at a very young age, I can start placing those values into my marketing messages. So you can tell stories that teach those values. Every product or service is different, so it is complicated. But if your product and service solves any of those issues, it helps people belong. It helps amplify their voice. It helps people have fun. If it helps you make money and you value abundance, have that be a narrative in the storytelling. So the one thing we could focus on is figuring out what we value and then creating marketing messages that embed those values in it, tell stories that align with those values. And my assumption is your product helps solve some of the problems for people that have those values as well. There's a million exercises we can do. I think the easier way to do it, I gave the harder way first. The easier way is to quite literally survey your target audience and answer their questions. And you can even do a Google search, could type in how to market your brand online and see what comes up, or let Google fill in the blank for you, like new business marketing, and just see what comes up on the line. If you're a roofer, it could be like roofing issue, and then just see what Google auto populate. So you can either survey the internet or survey your customers to see what problems they're having. You'll find that most of them are having the same three or five. Let's do three columns. You write the problem down in a column, you answer the solution to that problem in another column, and in the third column, what content do I use? Do I want to tell a story? And you basically create your content and messaging based around answering that exact problem. So your one side of the leg, you can come in and you can actually create content that's completely aligned with your values and your assumed values of the clients you want to work with. Or you can come in and create content that's completely 100% just answering their questions and solving their problem, because there's so many options. There's so many options out there. A lot of people have a product or service that can be found elsewhere. But if you're the guy or gal coming in and solving problems and creating buzz with your values, people are going to want to work with you. And then usually they come to you ready to buy. It's not like the old school cycle where it's ad. People actually do a ton of research. You're going to be their research, and then they're going to come to you to work with you.
You just saved a whole lot of people a whole lot of time because I know from when I started that the content, even of content, was so foreign to me that I didn't even know what to put out there. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs feel that way. I know I should produce content, but I don't even know what to say. So thank you for breaking that down for us, Ben. I know you made a shift during the pandemic to start your marketing company. The speed at which you've just everything has taken shape for you. And I know you have a marketing background. But still, I feel like what do you think or how have you worked on your storytelling over time? Because your storytelling is just so amazing. To a new entrepreneur who's like looking at that and thinking, I don't know how to do that. How do I compete in the market?
Yeah, first off, what I'd say is Google search how to be a better storyteller. So I've always been going to YouTube University since the day that it was an option. I've always been obsessed with learning. And to be honest, I feel like I learn everything the hard way. The first 25 years of my life, I would learn something, I wouldn't implement it, I would only put my toe in the water, I wouldn't dive in, and I made it harder on myself. So in the past few years, part of why I've been able to gain so much progress is I've started to get very stiff on implementing everything I learn as quickly as possible. But I learned the hard way and dived in. I literally would watch 6 hours of YouTube videos, fall asleep halfway through, and never actually implement the seminar that I was watching. So, first off, the answers are out there. So, go to YouTube University. Two people that really stand out to me are Rene Rodriguez. He has the Amplify formula, amplify your influence. Rene Rodriguez is a brilliant speaker. He's been doing it for 30 years at a very high scale. Been on the podcast. The episode isn't out of this exact time, but it'll be out by the time this podcast comes out. So it'll be at the top of my list if someone wants to go to Real Business Connections, check out Rene Rodriguez. He's really the first person that taught me what I did today, and I'm still learning today, and that finding your values and instilling them through story. And he teaches how to have fruitful answers to silly questions. What's your favorite color? Because if you instill values and story in everything you do, you have a great opportunity to connect with people at a deeper level. Rene Rodriguez, write down that name. The other name I'd write down is Matthew Dix. He's written numerous novels and specifically the book Storyworthy. Storyworthy is just I don't even know what to say. It's like the best storytelling book anyone can read, and he goes over all the tiny little tactical things. Matthew Dix, and honestly, Priscilla, you're gonna read these books and people are gonna be like, "Oh, Ben did a terrible job storytelling today because I haven't really told stories around these." Because there's a certain structure that neurologically you should use, and honestly, guys, I'm not using it, so I'm being hard on myself. But if you use certain structures and language patterns, the story is perceived at a much higher level. And Matthew Dix teaches a lot of that in Storyworthy. He's a 50-time Moth Grand Slam storyteller. It's like the biggest storytelling competition in New York City, and he's just incredible. So if you learn from people like Rene Rodriguez and then Matthew Dix, and then you almost through osmosis catch some of their skills, and then you can take their techniques and practice the technique. So osmosis, you catch some of their skills, and then through technique, you can learn it long term and get way better long term.